Organizations want to grow, they want to flourish, they want to succeed in the marketplace, and they entrust this job to the business leaders and the managers in the organization. And what we have experienced is that they repeatedly falter in this important task. But why does it happen? It's not because they lack technical skills. It's not because they lack strategic depth. It's simply that they do not have the people skills. The manager, the leader in the workplace, through the style of working, can impact the climate of the workplace. That is how people feel working there, in a positive or in a negative way. They can create toxic workplaces. They can create nurturing, nourishing workplaces. Their styles impact the climate up to 70% and the business results up to 30%, which is huge. This is repeatedly researched. This is not news. This is not something new. Even when we select a typist, a stenographer, we would actually assess their skills to see that we get the best. And yet, when we select managers, when we promote managers and leaders, we are not measuring their skills in terms of how they can motivate people, inspire people, connect people to meaningful work, grow them, nurture them, develop them. Because once you're a manager and leader, it's nothing about you, it's all about your people. Whether the team that you lead desires to perform, they perform because they want to perform, not because they are threatened. A recent survey of Gallup, I think it's the 2024 report, which shows that the Indian employees, 86% of them are either striving or suffering, and only 14% are thriving. That's poor results. That reflects very poorly on the managers and leaders. So we have a huge business case because India is on the cusp of change. We actually should have a better tomorrow. We could have a better tomorrow. We need to create that better tomorrow. This statistics of disengaged employees, striving and suffering employees must change by placing better managers, better business leaders. We at Ashish Sen Consulting and Coaching have worked on this. I have trained thousands of managers in this country with impactful results again and again, documented, researched. Let the people learn how to understand their emotions, because if the leader doesn't understand their emotion, they can upset themselves, they can be upset themselves, they can upset a lot of people. If they don't know how to regulate their emotions, if they do not have empathy, they cannot understand the other person's needs, they cannot help them grow, they will compete with them. If they do not have the ability to influence, empower, develop others, they are miserable managers. At best, with all the technical skills, they could be individual contributors, reasonably good at individual contributions. So, we can help reverse managers their negative statistics in the workplace by helping them learn the skills. In the workshop that we have planned from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at Delhi, these people would learn how to create a great workplace, how to give great, how do they develop those skills of giving clear goals, setting good standards, making people feel responsible by empowering them, ability to listen to others, ability to encourage others to think differently, motivate others, develop others, how to regulate emotions, how to reappraise situations, how to give feedback, and very importantly, how to influence people. They would also learn about self-compassion. How do they have self-compassion? They can be, sometimes managers can be cruel on themselves, they can be cruel on others. But how do you have compassion and self-compassion, which creates a great workplace? How do they learn to think positively? How do they create visions and help employees create their own personal visions, aligning those visions to the organizational and team visions? They will learn a lot. They will also learn to use several tools, especially the tool that I would like them to emphasize on, which we are certifying them on, is the Skills for Career and Life Effectiveness Scale from EI Learning Systems USA. They get certified on this scale instrument, they can administer this, they can interpret the scores, and they can coach the people on 13 competencies of emotional intelligence. While a lot of people at senior positions have a lot of IQ, many of them falter because the emotional intelligence competencies are missing, and around 85% or more of the differential performance from a leader comes because of these emotional intelligence competencies. Everybody's bright at that level. So if your middle managers, your first-time managers, and your senior managers, executives lack this skill, I think you should send them to this workshop. They would be able to utilize it for themselves, and they will be able to utilize the scale instrument for their own subordinates, for the EI assessment and coaching them. It would be also helpful for you to plan a training intervention, and even for individual trainers who are in the business of training people. This workshop will give them the material, the wherewithal, the skills, and scale instrument so that they can run these interventions, emotional intelligence interventions, in many organizations. I work with several top organizations in India, many of the Fortune 500 public sectors and private sector, large private sector companies, the government, helping build capacity. I've had the good fortune to interact with on several occasions and been recognized by some of the greatest in the world on emotional intelligence competencies, like Daniel Goleman, Dr. Richard Boyatzis, Dr. Robert Immerling, Dr. Darwin Nelson, Dr. Gary Lowe, Dr. Richard Hammett, and many, many others. A plethora of awards, recognitions only testify that I have the credentials to pass on these skills very easily to each one of you. This workshop will not have jargons, but will be scientifically based. So in this workshop, you will understand the biology of the human being, the brain science, by which you can help to learn by yourself how you can develop different parts of your brain. For example, how do you regulate your emotions, your amygdala? How will you regulate your emotional brain and activate your thinking brain? You will learn how to improve your memory power, and all this through skills and competencies like mindfulness exercises, mindfulness breathing, etc. How to improve your immunity through assertive speaking. How to actually honestly speak out your emotions and your needs, not feel embarrassed by them, but confidently speak out what you need. That is assertiveness. You will also learn the skills of resilience. So there is a whole package. It's a small group that we wish to have, because the certification workshops are very, very focused interventions with a lot of activity in the 3 days that we plan. It's going to be held at Delhi. I would request you to register yourself early. In the comments box, you can answer, you can ask a question, you can write to me, you can write on my email seeking to register in this workshop. It's priced very modestly despite the heavy package that it wishes to deliver to you. Look forward to seeing you. Thank you.